Okay, so you have a painting, but as an artist, if you're doing it as a career, you have to be able to sell it. And a lot of people you're gonna sell your artwork to don't live within a driving distance to you. So you have to ship your artwork. But it's kind of terrifying. How do you keep your artwork safe? How do you find good packing materials? How do you keep it affordable? What to charge your clients? And what extra can you do to add some spice and show appreciation for your clients' support? All of this we're gonna cover.
Hey, I'm Sarah, welcome to my channel.
2 years ago, I jumped from marine biology to become a wildlife artist full-time, and boy was it a learning curve. So on this channel, we're gonna talk about how to paint realistic wildlife textures in nature, and also document the process of starting up a business as a full-time artist. And in 2021, I went from being terrified to sell my artwork to now having shipped artwork internationally across 5 countries in the last year. And I figured I'd hop on here and share it. So we're gonna get into supplies. So to start us off, we're gonna go over our packaging materials. Now I have varnish that's well dry in the painting. We have foam wrap that's used to cover the painting, corner protectors, a cardboard box it's gonna go in, and packing tape. So we'll get into a full cost of how much it was to ship this painting in a moment. Next, we're gonna go into our shipping materials. This is a tape measure to get the dimension of your box. Your shipping label will go into customs forms, pouches that you can put custom forms in, and safety stickers, which are the best part, you know. Next, we're gonna go into the spice. So this includes the certificate of authenticity for paintings, cotton gloves, and other things that you can do just to make buying from you really a unique experience, and bonus items for your collectors. Now when I go to ship artwork, I make sure I have all my materials ready on hand before I start packaging the painting, just to ensure I don't seal everything up and forget anything. So for all of my paintings, I like to write a handwritten note to the collector describing the painting, why I created it, different fun facts about it. If it's a reference image that I took myself, I include the story of taking the photo and other fun facts that are just kind of adds to the experience and the stories that they can tell other people when people are looking at the artwork in their home. Up next, I have a card of the month subscription program, and just coincidentally, the tiger was featured during the month of January because it's the year of the tiger. And I'm gonna use this card to write a letter to the receiver of the painting from the purchaser because it's a gift. So they've sent me a message in an email that they wanted to include with the painting to the person whose birthday they're getting it for. And I've written the card, so that's tucked away and it'll go right on top of the painting. It'll be the first thing they see. And in the big envelope there, I have a couple extra cards just to throw in for fun because clients always like bonus things. So next we have up is our certificates of authenticity. It took me a while to land on a design for this. I really liked the blue because especially last year, all of my paintings did focus in the marine realm, so it was kind of on an ocean brand. But certificate of authenticity is really important to include. There's tons of information about it online. I'm not sure if you could see the text of mine, but I can maybe write it below. Then I always include a pair of simple cotton gloves. These are inexpensive, I get them from Amazon, and I just love having them on hand with paintings when people open them. It just adds to the entire experience and it prevents any fingerprints from getting on the varnish, and it's just easier handling the painting. So that's basically all I have in the box. Now we're gonna get into some prep work I do for preparing the safety of the painting. So these are corner protectors. And I know that for a 1-inch canvas, I go with about 1.5 inches width for the corner protectors. After we add the protective layers over the painting, which we'll get to in a sec, it'll take up that amount of space. So these are different sizes of corner protectors. You can see that I can choose between 3 different sizes. I have gotten most of my shipping supplies from Uline. I am based in Ontario and it's conveniently close to my brother's house, so I could just go and pick up the stuff that you have to buy in bulk. But corner protectors are pretty inexpensive. I have probably a 5-year supply by the amount I had to invest in, but that's fine. I spent $57 last year for a 400 pack of them. So it is a bit of investment up front, but now I have corner protectors for all of my paintings, probably for the next 5 years. Okay, so next I'm gonna show you where I've stashed all of my cardboard boxes in my studio. I basically made a curtain wall as the background now for when I'm doing my paintings. I haven't really showed off my new studio yet on YouTube, but we moved in the beginning of March. And yeah, basically, so you can see I have probably 4 different sizes of cardboard boxes. And some are like this, a kind of a pizza box style. Some are just more flat pieces of cardboard that I can make custom size boxes with. It really depends. For the January 31-day challenge, I limited myself to a certain specific size that all 20 paintings were in. And I planned ahead of time and I bought 20 boxes that fit those paintings. So I bought the boxes in bulk and I had the specific canvas size to fit these. So doing that kind of planning ahead can really save you when you're shipping, because you already have a plan, you already have a box. It's easy. When the painting sells, you can get it out to your client within a few days, ideally. And basically this is how these boxes work. So I spent a ton of time. Like I've spent 4 hours making a cardboard box to fit a painting before. Making your own custom boxes is a process. It's not something just to be taken on lightly. It can be a cheaper solution. I definitely have a pile of recyclable cardboard material that I get. My parents work in a tractor shop and they deal with shipping a lot of large items, and it has really nice thick cardboard that's difficult to cut but really good for protecting larger paintings. But yeah, this kind of stuff works perfect for shipping smaller items and is so convenient. And now that I'm getting into a higher price point for my larger artwork, I just buy the like deluxe artwork shippers. The box is like $150, but it has nice foam in it to protect your paintings, and it's reusable, and that's the kind of stuff I use for the very large paintings. But for smaller items, this stuff works amazing. So now you can see the entire box put together, and we're gonna go onwards and wrap the painting. So this is foam wrap that I got from Uline. If you ask my husband, it's a pretty hilarious story because I didn't realize I had to buy them in a 3-pack. So when we went to pick up the Uline order, it was a bit overwhelming to have this quantity of foam wrap. I'm sure there's other places you can get smaller amounts. These are 3 absolutely ginormous rolls that have been kind of annoying to store. Just made a dent in one of them, but anyway, I try and really minimize the amount of foam wrap that I use for my painting. So when I'm folding it over, I generally have 2 layers on the painting side where all the detail work is. And we're just kind of securing the foam wrap on it with a few pieces of tape. Because I paint in acrylics and I've had many days for this varnish to dry, the painting is not sticky or tacky at all. So I feel very confident using foam wrap that it's not going to affect the varnish at all. I feel much more comfortable using foam wrap over bubble wrap. Bubble wrap, if you don't get very specific artwork designed bubble wrap, that it's flat on both sides, sometimes you can end up with the little bubbles in your varnish. I've never had that experience to me, but I've heard enough warning stories on the internet to completely just avoid bubble wrap mostly, unless it's just kind of adding cushioning around the painting to fill up space, but I never use it as a primary protective layer. So especially if your painting is oil-based, you're gonna wanna add an extra protective layer. Cloth works really well. You can also get different types of acid paper, but to keep it simple, especially for my smaller paintings, I typically just stick with the foam wrap, and it's always worked very well. So now a lot of the prep work is done and we get to do the fun part, which is kind of arranging everything in a aesthetically pleasing way that your client's gonna see. So I have my envelope with my extra bonus cards and my note in the bottom. They can kind of find that at some point. It's not gonna be the main highlight of the opening your painting experience. So we have our painting wrapped in foam wrap. We're gonna put on the corner protectors. They kind of just fit snugly on there. Sometimes you can tape them to secure them a bit better to the foam wrap. In this case, they fit pretty snugly, so I didn't really feel the need to. So we're gonna attach all 4 onto it there. And there we have the painting all snug with its corner protectors. So now you can see that I didn't put anything in the bottom of the box or the top of the box. You can also add an extra layer of what's called puncture protection. So it could be a thicker corrugated cardboard. Sometimes people put a layer of hard plastic. Because I paint on fairly thick Baltic birch hardwood, I'm not as concerned about puncture protection of a canvas material that ruining the painting. And we're gonna get insurance anyway in case the box gets completely destroyed. So I always tuck the gloves in on top, and I tucked the card from the buyer to where the painting's being shipped to so they can find it and see who bought them this lovely piece of art right at the beginning of their gift. So for this part, sometimes if I have it on hand, I will keep the paper that comes in other shipping materials. So a lot of packaging that comes from Amazon or other places has like a really thick paper that's just kind of scrunched up that can really act as a great environmentally friendly option for filling gaps in your boxes. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of rolling up a bit of the foam paper just to help cushion the edges and keep the painting in the middle of the package. The other way to really reduce the amount of material that you're gonna need to ship a painting is just get the correct size boxes. Basically, you can see in this box that it's meant for the specific size of painting, and it's kind of planned out ahead of time so that we don't have too much extra space to fill with a bunch of material, so that everything stays really snug and isn't really shaking around in your box. So this is what you see when you receive any of my smaller paintings that I sell. These are for originals. Oh, and I got a stamper for like $9, and it's my favorite thing. I stamp everything. It's got my little logo on it. But yeah, basically this is what the package is gonna look like. And it's kind of about the experience. You want to build that excitement as somebody opens one of your paintings. So after you get over the initial stress of just trying to keep your artwork safe, it's really satisfying to get into the aesthetic things. I mean, we're artists, we like things to look nice. And now we have a painting packaged, but how do we ship it? So this is about $100 worth of stickers. You don't have to spend this much on stickers. A lower budget option would just to be draw a couple up arrows in red marker on your box. I invested in them. It was an impulse buy. It's fine. You're starting a business. But yeah, each of these sticker rolls was about, I don't know, say $30. And they have 500 stickers on them. So like the corner protectors, it was a bit of an investment into taking this business seriously for me. So it does have some upfront costs, but now I have all these stickers that I can just slap on and have a great time with. So I make sure to get a few different colors. The key elements you want is a this side up. I always pick a side that's going to be the top and stay consistent with all your stickers, you know, as you go around your painting. If you keep an upright painting like this, it has less of a chance of having a bunch of stuff stacked on it. What you don't want happening is somebody seeing like, oh, a nice flat box, putting it in the bottom of a truck and piling a bunch of stuff on top of your artwork. So you want to have fragile stickers, top load only stickers, this side up so they can try and keep it vertical. You know, we can't guarantee what they're gonna do in transit, but all of these things help. And I've never had a painting not show up in perfect condition of my originals. Yeah, and the stickers are just such a fun aspect. You just get to decorate it. So I'm putting stickers kind of all over the back, but on the front, I did leave space to the right that we're gonna put shipping labels. So forgot to mention that at the time, but we'll get into shipping labels in a hot second after I finish playing with stickers. Okay, and I just used regular tape for securing the foam wrap. Sometimes I use packing tape, but I didn't today. But anyway, we're pulling out the packing tape and we are going to tape our edges of our box. So even though there's really only one flap that opens and closes, I want to make sure that I seal all of the edges up. So I kind of start with 2 cross, strips, and then we go through and we tape the full edges. So we're gonna speed this part up because, everybody kind of understands how to tape a box. So as we kind of fast forward here, you can see I'm getting all the edges, even the parts of the box that were just kind of a gap, to make the box. We're gonna make sure that we seal up those as well. And tape is one thing that you really don't want to cheap out on. The difference in price of cheap packing tape versus high quality packing tape is absolutely worth it. Sometimes I use cardboard specific tape as well. I didn't have any of that on hand and at this time, but get good tape. You want everything to stay really tight and closed, especially if there's any moisture in the air and stuff. And now that our box is all taped up and ready to go, the last thing we have to do is create our shipping labels and our custom forms, as this package is going internationally. So my secret sauce for having to ship artwork, especially internationally, at an affordable rate is a website called Freightcom. None of this video is sponsored. I'm a new YouTuber. I don't know how sponsors work yet. But I'm gonna give you a preview of what the site looks like. This is kind of the landing page. We're gonna go over to ship and create a new shipment. Then if you kind of fill out the address and all that stuff, scroll down, you want to make sure package is selected instead of a pallet. Then you could go through and add in all of your dimensions of your box. So this is where your tape measure comes in handy, and we're going to select the length as 21 inches, the width as 3 inches, height is 16, and for the weight of art packages, it really doesn't matter. They basically go by the larger dimensions, and you could say it's 5 pounds, you could say it's 15 pounds. It really doesn't matter, so I don't have a scale in my studio. Unless you have a very heavy painting, the weight really isn't going to affect the price. It's going to mostly be based on your dimensions of your box. Then when you go down, you absolutely want to check that you want insurance. So you can go ahead and enter the value of your painting in this field. And then I typically go with the carrier insurance. You can play around with this and see what the rate is, but I found there's more shipping options if you select this option. So it's what I would recommend. And then you click on getting your rates after your value of your painting is in there for insurance. And this is what the next page will look like. So this is shipping Canada to US, and the shipping price is going to be $24.60. And then in the surcharges, if you hover over the information, it describes the breakdown of what is your insurance on the item, and that changes based on the cost of the painting that you are shipping, and other fees, like if you require a signature on delivery, which I highly recommend, you know, different things like that that are a few dollars that all kind of add up to your rate. So after you select a rate that you're happy with, you can print your own shipping label right at your door, and your customs invoice, which is attached to the same page. Basically, the customs invoice is quite simple to fill out, and you can also select when the item is going to be picked up. In my city, because we're shipping with UPS, sometimes they can literally show up in like 2 minutes. It's intimidatingly quick, and it stresses me out. Anyway, you can select the window for that, or you could drop it off at your local UPS store. You know, there's tons of options. But basically what you can see I'm doing now is I have a clear envelope, and it's a sticker on one side, and essentially this is the home for the packing label and then a few copies of the customs forms. So I have the shipping label that's going to face out, and then you can put all your customs paperwork in behind it. Certain companies nowadays are going electronic with their custom forms. So there's a barcode on your shipping label that they can scan and just have an electric copy on file. But just in case, I always include a couple extra paperwork for it. And this is because at the border, sometimes people will go and take out part of that paperwork and keep it on file, especially if you have a customs broker kind of negotiating any rates on your behalf. For artwork, you generally don't have to worry about it, especially because it's a gift. Yeah, customs is confusing, but you just attach the label to your painting, the customs invoice is underneath there, and your painting is ready to go. So now we're gonna get into a quick breakdown of all of our materials. So the full price to ship this painting was about $50 Canadian. This includes the $24.60 shipping base fee, the $11.20 for insurance, signature required, a couple other extra things and that are built in that price. And then all of my materials that are included in this cost about $13.81. So I'll put up a whole itemized list above. A lot of it is from Uline and Amazon. The certificates of authenticity I did get from printed.com. There was a bit of an import fee, you know, that wasn't great around this. It was a bit of a surprise. So there's definitely local companies to North America that I would do in the future. But I got these way back last March in 2021. And we also threw in $2 for any miscellaneous items I could have missed. Packing tape I don't really want to calculate, so it's in there. And yeah, so it's about $50 to ship this painting all the way to the US. And I am happy to report that the painting made it safely from Canada to the United States. And so far we have a perfect record still for shipping paintings. Knock on the desk. And yeah, so if you want to check out how I created this tiger painting, it's actually my best performing video so far on YouTube since I started the channel. It's part of my January painting challenge, and you can go and check out that painting video. And I hope you enjoy it. We're gonna keep creating stuff.